Okay, hi, I'm Roy from Roy's Garage. Today I'm going to be working on a 2002 Toyota 4Runner. The problem is the gear shift is wobbling, and I'm going to be replacing with two gear shift bushings. These are the tools I'm going to be using today for this job. This is a 3/8 impact wrench, 12mm socket, plier, 10mm wrench, 14mm wrench, two different type door trim panel removers, Phillips screwdriver, 3/8 ratchet, 3/8 extension, 10mm socket, small screwdriver, and some white grease. Okay, these are the parts that I'm going to be using today to do this job. Going to be two gear shift bushings. Okay, now this gear shift, it wobbles sidewards, and that's an indication of the bushings on the bottom that's broken. So we're going to be replacing the bushings. So first we're going to have to remove this panel right here. So you just pry it up, it just snapped in. Okay, so now I have to remove this whole gear shift assembly out of the floor. Okay, we're going to be removing these 4 screws. Okay, so we're going to lift this guy up. Okay, we're going to be disconnecting the light on this side, under here. Okay. So now we're going to be disconnecting these electrical connectors. Okay, we're gonna go underneath the car, and now I'm gonna disconnect the shifter from the linkage. Okay, so we're underneath the car, driver's side. So I'm gonna be disconnecting the shifter from the gear shift linkage. But before I do that, it's a good idea to mark it so that when I put it back at the same place. You can get anything, just to mark it, as long as it's pretty close. So with a 12mm wrench, you can disconnect it. And just put the screw with the washer back onto the shifter so you don't lose it. Okay, so I'm going to be removing these 4 bolts. Okay, now we're going to be removing the gear shift assembly. Okay, so we're going to take it over the bench. So this is the bottom of the gear shift. So I'm going to be removing this rubber boot. But before we remove the rubber boot, there's this metal sleeve in each hole. We got to remove the sleeve first. Okay, now we can remove the rubber boot. So those blue bushings belong in here. So what we're gonna do is remove this shaft and take and put the new bushings in. Okay. Okay, we're gonna slide this shaft out. Okay, we're going to clean out the shifter. So all of this blue flakes, this is all the old blue bushings that's all deteriorated. So we're going to be putting in these guys. But first we're going to clean it up. So I'm going to be greasing up these bushings. Put some grease on the outside and the inside. This is just white grease. So now I got the bushings in the shifter. So I'm going to be putting on the shifter to this plate, and it won't go in. So what I need to do is with a plier, these two tabs, just bend it out just a little, just so the shifter can go in. Just a little. Now we're going to put some white grease on this shaft. Okay. Okay, so it's not, since it's not going in all the way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of turn it with a wrench and push it down at the same time. Okay, so the guy went through. So now we're going to put the nut on. I'm going to tighten it up. Just tighten it tight. So I'm going to be installing the rubber boot. So we're going to be installing these metal sleeves. So now we're going to be installing this gear shift assembly. Okay, we're going to be installing the gear shift assembly. So we're going to be bolting it down with the 4 bolts. Okay, so we're going to put on these electrical connectors. Okay, so before we're going to connect anything, I want to turn on the light. I want to make sure that this bulb works. Okay, it's working. Because if this bulb doesn't work, then now is the time to change it. So the bulb works. So we're gonna be putting the bulb, installing the bulb. Okay, and then we're gonna be bolting this plastic piece to this mount. Okay, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna put it in park. I'm gonna go underneath and I'm gonna connect the gear shift to the gear shift linkage. So now we're under the car, so we're gonna be connecting this linkage to the shifter. Try to put it back about the same place that it came off. Tighten it up. Okay, so before we put the cover on, I want to make sure the shifter is working properly and the gears are in the right position. So we're going to start it up and run it through the gears. everything looks perfect. Okay, so now we're gonna be putting on the cover. So what you want to do is, this cup holder, you want to lift it up a little, and then you want to slide this side and lock it in first. Lock that in, and then lock that in. So that's how you replace a gear shift bushing. Thank you for watching my videos. Please subscribe, give me the thumbs up, and I see you in the next video. Aloha.